Natural language processing initiatives to devise methods for developing computational lexicons, either manually from scratch or semi-automatically from machine-readable dictionaries, have attested that coding lexicons for NLP applications is a time-consuming, prone to flaws task. The core of the problem is the amount, the variety, and the complexity of specialized and interrelated information that lexicon developers have to cope with and to encode in the lexical database: graphemic, morphological, syntactic, semantic, and even elocutionary bits of information, among others. But, on the other hand, there have been important initiatives to minimize the burden of the task and to develop strategies and standards for building robust and corpus-based lexicons. For instance, Calzolari, McNaughton Zampoli, Lenci, and other authors acquiring lexical information for MRD and corpora. On the other hand, a successful psycholinguistic experiment, the Princeton WordNet lexical database that we already discussed, has motivated efficient compilations of bulky relational lexicons since its inception in the 1980s. In this lecture, we will cover EuroWordNet relational lexical database and other initiatives of building multilingual WordNets. Since the time when WordNet has become available, a large community of researchers and developers has been employing this resource for various NLP applications, including, but not limited to, word sense disambiguation, semantic annotation of corpora, information retrieval, and text categorization. One of the many attractions of the semantic network WordNet is that there are numerous WordNets being built for different languages. Numerous initiatives have emerged to create a WordNet in other languages than English. Currently, WordNets in more than 30 languages exist or are under development. These initiatives are brought together in the Global WordNet Association. This organization aims at providing a platform for establishing cooperations concerning WordNet creation and dissemination, developing WordNet-related standards, and promoting the integration of language-specific WordNets in multilingual resources. According to the Global WordNet Association, resources that follow the WordNet design must include: first, links to WordNet, Princeton or others that are linked to Princeton WordNet, and WordNet structure, so minimally synset and hyponymy relation. Basically, two strategies have been applied for independent creation and integration of the different language-specific WordNets. Some WordNets have been built up from scratch, and equivalence relations to the Princeton WordNet have been encoded afterwards. This is called merge approach. This approach has been pursued, for instance, for the German WordNet, the Danish WordNet, and the Polish WordNet. Other WordNets have been built by the expand approach, for instance, the French WordNet and the Finnish WordNet, and two Norwegian WordNets for the two written standards of Norwegian, which were translated using partly automatic corpus-based methods, although not from Princeton WordNet, but from Danish WordNet. In expand approach, the structure is imported wholesale using bilingual resources, dictionaries or translation corpora from another language, typically English, and where the linking to the source WordNet consequently is part of the design. Semi-automatic translation of WordNet concepts into equivalent concepts in the respective language and adopting the relations from WordNet which connects these concepts takes place. Both approaches have advantages and drawbacks. Building a WordNet from scratch allows the adequate modeling of lexical semantic patterns specific to the respective language, while the adoption of the WordNet structure could miss such patterns and yield biases peculiar to English and to Princeton WordNet. On the other hand, creating a translation of WordNet is much less labor-intensive, since it can be done semi-automatically and there is no additional effort to encode equivalence relations to the Princeton WordNet. In theory, such wordnets can easily be combined into a single resource by using the Princeton wordnet synsets. Because they are linked at the synset level, the problem of ambiguity one gets when linking bilingual dictionaries to a common language is resolved via linking senses to senses. In case of the merge approach, where a wordnet is created independently from Princeton wordnet, it often happens that for some language-specific concept there is no exact counterpart in the Princeton wordnet. This could be due to the missing lexicalization in English or due to a gap in wordnet. The size of the individual wordnets in EuroWordnet differ significantly. They range from 7,500 concepts for instance Estonian language to 30,000 concepts for Dutch, Italian and Spanish. For English, WordNet 1.5 version is integrated, supplemented by an English WordNet encoding additional, mostly derivational relations. Germanet is a lexical semantic net that relates German nouns, verbs and adjectives semantically by grouping lexical units that express the same concept into synsets and by defining semantic relations between these synsets. It has much in common with the English WordNet and can be viewed as an online thesaurus or a lightweight ontology. Germanet is being developed to serve as an electronic lexicographic reference database for German word senses. It is primarily intended to serve as a resource for word sense disambiguation, which is crucial for NLP applications like information retrieval, the construction of various language technology tools, and the notation of corpora. It has been developed and maintained within various projects at the Research Group for General and Computational Linguistic Division of Computational Linguistics of the Linguistic Department, University of Tübingen since 1997. It has been integrated into the EuroWordnet, a multilingual lexical semantic database. Germanet version 12.0, dating from 2017, has more than 120,000 synsets and 4,210 lexical relations, excluding synonymy. Germanet is, however, not merely a German version or a translation of Princeton WordNet. It is built entirely from scratch, and 10 years of experience in building the American model database is only one of the resources employed to support lexicographers' intuition in building the net. Resources used in building of Germanet include German thesaurus, Deutscher Wortschatz, that did not prove to be successful due to its outdated vocabulary and vagueness in stating semantic relations within and between its entries. It is still being used as one source to find semantically related words. Other printed dictionaries are Duden 8 and Duden 3. In addition, various general monolingual dictionaries are used to confirm word senses and definitions. But the main resource remains the lexicographic knowledge of the project members in combination with large annotated text corpora. Germanet and Princeton WordNet share the same technology. The database format and the software code to build and access the database are the same. Germanet shares the basic definition of the database into the 4 lexical categories: noun, adjective, verb, and adverb with WordNet. Connectivity between word classes in Germanet is improved by using existing cross-class relations. For instance, pertains to, has, is attribute more frequently. Allowing certain relations to cross word classes is also one of the specifics of Germanet, so verbs are allowed to codes to adjectives. Also, in Germanet, new cross-class relations are added for selectional restrictions. The Finnish WordNet, FinWordNet, was created by translating more than 200,000 word senses in the English Princeton WordNet 3.0 version in 100 days. To ensure quality, they were translated by professional translators. The direct translation approach was based on the assumption that most synsets in the Princeton WordNet represent language-independent, real-world concepts. Thus, also the semantic relations between synthetons were assumed mostly language-independent, so the structure of Princeton WordNet could be reused as well. This approach allowed the creation of an extensive Finnish WordNet directly aligned with Princeton WordNet, and also provided authors with a translation relation and a bilingual WordNet usable as a dictionary. Since Finnish WordNet is translated from Princeton WordNet, they do not differ structurally from each other, except for some derivational links removed between lexemes with no derivational relationship in Finnish. Linden and Carson have in 2010 pointed out some of the translation mismatches due to differing semantic fields in the languages, but many of them were dealt with through to the fine-grained structure of Princeton WordNet. A greater effort went into evaluating the viability of this approach by studying the synonym and translation quality both on the lexeme and the concept level, as well as the lexical coverage and some structural differences. Authors have discovered no major problems, but the effort provided them with valuable data for further extending Finnish WordNet. The usefulness of Finnish WordNet for humans as a large-scale bilingual dictionary was confirmed later by Muhonen and Linden and described in their paper from 2011. And here, finally, you have the list of references describing the two mentioned approaches to building WordNets that we just analyzed in this video.